If you view eating junk food as an act of self-harm and yet you're having a really hard time not eating junk food, then this video is for you, because that viewpoint is probably why you're struggling to make any substantial progress on your health goals. Hi, I'm Natalie Fox, I'm a registered dietitian specializing in ADHD and binge eating, and this is my man Joey, and let me explain what I mean by that. If you currently view your eating habits as an act of self-harm, then the only possible form of self-care is to stop eating those foods. Now, you might try all sorts of tips and tricks and hacks to help you do that, but at the end of the day, you're just walking down one long hallway with one door at the very end of it, and that door is stop eating junk food. And you're just bashing your head into it over and over and over again. And for many people, that just doesn't work. And that often leads people to feel like there's something wrong with them, or they just don't care enough about themselves, and that's just simply not true. And so if that's you, I would like to open another door in that hallway. What if instead we view those eating patterns and eating quote unquote junk food as being your brain and your body's preferred method of self-care rather than self-harm? If you're stressed out and you're lonely and you're burnt out and you're overstimulated and you have way too many things on your plate and your energy levels are poor and maybe you didn't eat very well in the first part of the day, maybe munching on tasty foods is how you're surviving in that environment, right? Your body and your brain are under threat and they are choosing short-term survival over long-term health, because ultimately that is going to be safer. And so if you can view these behaviors as actually self-care, how would that change how you approach working on these patterns? Would just taking away that self-care and forcing yourself not to use that tool make any sense at all? No, because ultimately that would lead to more suffering. Instead, it's a better use of your energy to work on changing the environment that's making those self-care behaviors so vitally important right now. What can you change about your situation? How can you lighten your cognitive load? Are there other ways that you can support yourself and meet those same needs? We need to start viewing these behaviors as a flag that there is a deeper problem and not as the problem itself. Otherwise, it's like breaking your arm and trying to treat that with painkillers rather than setting the brake. Hope this helps.